Thank you, and Vanessa, and Yulia. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. So starting out, I still, I want to do this every day just because I don't know. Anyway, if anyone has any thing they want to say just in general about the current situation in the world and in your world, raise your hand and you can either chat or say something if you want to. Well, in particular, I've got some students in some of my classes that work in healthcare. They're experiencing some real stress, concerns for their own safety, and for what they may be in for in the coming days that they're going to be seeing. And also concerns for family. I have one person who their family is in quarantine now. So, if you ever want to talk about it, either, here in the open or email me or whatever, I'd be happy to, talk with you. So, okay. So then next thing, has anybody got a question about anything related to the class that you want to bring up? Just raise your hand. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. So we'll just go to Blackboard and talk through that stuff. Make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. So, I don't think it's on here. No, it's not on here, but let's see. I think we've got in this class people that have not been in class since we started here online. So if you happen to know that those persons and you have a way to contact them, please contact them. Encourage them to say something. And if they don't intend to come back to the class, they should withdraw and not end up taking an F in the class. So anyway, I've tried to contact them through every email and phone number I can find. So anyhow, enough of that. Exam 3 is going to be next class, Wednesday, April 8th. Okay, you're going to be going into sapling. So the way things will start on Wednesday is you'll go ahead and come into the Collaborate room just like you are right now. And then I will open up the link to get to the exam, and then I'll tell you that, and then you'll be able to then go to back to Blackboard, click on the Blackboard tab, and go to that link, and then it'll take you to sapling, then you do the exam. While you're taking the exam, you'll select each of your answers, but then you can go back if you change your mind on something, although that's usually a bad idea, but you can if you want to. And then at the end, you submit the exam. It'll caution you that you're about to submit the exam, and you will not be able to change your answers after that. And then after you do that, it will show you which questions are right and which ones are wrong. So anyway, that's the way that's going to go. It would have been the same exam we would have had 2 weeks ago or something like that. So that'll be mostly on Chapter 13, Fundamental Equilibrium Concepts. Take a few questions from the other previous chapters, 10 through 12. Be sure you can do everything in the presentation for Chapter 13. Do everything in the worksheet for that chapter. And there might be a few questions from Sapling. So has anybody got a question about the exam on Wednesday? Okay. You will not take a camera. I'm not going to worry about stuff like that. Everybody's going to be taking a their exam, the questions are going to be in slightly different order, so it doesn't really matter. Next thing is Collaborate recordings are available. I have to move them into YouTube because there's not enough space in Blackboard. So I've got, I think I have Monday and Wednesday for you guys. Friday, I'm having some technical difficulty, but I'll get it worked out eventually. Well, that sounded like a chat, but I don't see anything, so maybe not. Going back. Okay, if you're having internet connection issues, the school, someone has come up with an idea. It's not super great, but it would work. If you have a laptop and if your battery works, you could drive to the parking lot at Triton. And let's see, it says the parking lot on the west side of campus. And then you can get in from Palmer Street. You ought to be able to figure it out from the announcement where they're talking about. And then you can just sit in your car, and they're saying that the Wi-Fi should be strong enough you can pick it up from the parking lot. I don't know. If you were thinking about doing that, I might suggest that you go over there before the next class and just make sure that it actually will carry to your car. And then I added a suggestion here. While parked, remain in your car. Maintain social distancing. Don't get in the parking lot and, start having a party, or anything like that. Anyway, that might solve an internet problem. And then if you're having computer issues, having a computer for camera and microphone is essential for participation in online instruction during the remainder of the semester. If you do not have regular access to a reliable computer, the college may have a solution. Can't guarantee anything. But anyway, if you click on that online request link, you can request a laptop. And the next time you can pick one up will be this Wednesday, 1:30 to 4. If you're having any other issues with your computer and you want to keep using it, then contact the ETRC, Educational Technology Resource Center, at that email, and they will get back to you. I had a student that did contact them, and I got back to him pretty quick. So that's the story there. I have not updated the task list, been a little busy with working out issues on these recordings. And that's about it on that stuff. Then look at the homework. That's not the right place to be, though. Right now, let's see, the up and coming assignments is the topic introduction for thermo, and the homework are due on the 15th. And let me see if there's anything else that we ought to talk about. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, the topic introduction for Chapter 14, Part B, and Chapter 15 is no longer available, so you can't do anything else there. And the homework for Chapter 14B, while the due date was the 5th, you still have 4 more days to work on it. So anyway, there will be a penalty, but at this point it would only be a 1-day penalty, which I don't remember how many questions there are, but anyway, it wouldn't affect things much if you finished it up today. And then that's it on, let's see, wait a minute. This homework here was due on the 3rd, so 5 more days. There's 2 more days left on it, on Chapter 14A, that you could be working on it. There'd just be a point reduction, okay? So anyway, don't forget about that stuff. And then think that might be a, oh yeah, I think there was a few groups that have not turned in lab reports, and I sent you an email about it. So, you know, but anyway, uh, reply to my email and we can see what we can do about that. So I think that's all that stuff. Excuse me. Anybody have a question now about anything? Okay. Then let's go ahead and get into the lab. So for you guys to do your lab, you'll need to go into course materials. Of course, you're going to do this as a group, so don't start doing anything quite yet. And in just a moment, I'll activate the groups to where you'll be able to then speak with each other, do whatever you're needing to do to get the lab done. And then if you have a question, you can post a question to the to the uh, to the chat. It's the chat for the room, not for your group, and then I can respond to that question. So anyway, so anyway, to do your homework, or excuse me, not your homework, your lab today, click on course materials. You'll need to go then to lab reports, and I have this still running as my view instead of a student view, so it's going to show a bunch of stuff that you won't see. But the one you're looking for is Lab Report 8, Oxidation Reduction Simulation. So you're looking for the one like that when you get in there. And it's got an attached file, redox simulation. That's the instructions for doing the lab. Like it says, follow the instructions on the attached file. Oh yeah, I realize I did not actually make this link active, so that's not going to do you guys any good. You'll have to go to the link from the instruction page. The report will have these items: title, date, partners, a data table for activity 1, and then activity 2, activity 3, activity 4, and then your conclusion is going to be what is the order for oxidation of these different metals, and then the other conclusion is going to be what is the hydrochloric acid reactivity of some various metals. And then you've got not conclusions, comments. I did this late last night. I was spaced out. That should be comments. So anyway, let's take a look at the instructions. So you guys will click on the link here and you'll get this right here. So this is the instructions. Oxidation Reduction Virtual Lab. In this lab, you'll explore reactions between metals and ionic solutions. So here's a generic representation of that. So you'll have A, solid, so that's a metal, and that metal is going to be dropped into a solution, aqueous solution, of an ionic compound, and we're representing it as Bx. Then if it is possible to have a reaction, then you'll now have some of the same atom, the B, except now it will be a solid. It'll no longer be a cation, and it will be deposited on the outside of the piece of metal A that you dropped in there. And then you'll be producing a new ionic solution called AX. And if that solution has a color, the color of the solution will change to the new color. In this example, a reaction will only occur if the thermodynamics favor B being a solid metal rather than A. So there's always a competition in these kinds of reactions between the two metals. Like here, the metals are A and they are B, and there's a competition between those, and whichever one is favored thermodynamically relative to the other one to exist as a solid metal, that's what will start to happen. Therefore, in some combinations of metal A, solid, and a ionic solution, no reaction will occur. You won't see any change. That's because the thermodynamics does not allow it to happen. So when a sample of solid metal A is placed in a solution of BX aqueous, if a coating is observed on the outside of A. So what will happen, you put the metal in there, give it some time, take the metal back out, you'll be able to see it, and you'll be able to see if it now has a coating on the outside or if it doesn't. If you see the coating, the reaction occurred. If there's no coating, then no reaction occurred. And then to observe some reactions, the simulation is going to be used. You begin by clicking this link. You may need to activate Flash in your browser for the simulation to run. It just depends on how your computer is set up. And then here's the instructions. And this is a pretty simple simulation to run. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it's going to look like. So you'll be clicking on this link, and you see I have to enable Flash on my computer. And then there it is. So metals in aqueous solutions. In the next exercises, we'll be able to test several metals with different aqueous solutions. For example, you can place zinc metal into a solution of copper nitrate. And what they're showing you here is when you do that, you get a coating of copper on the outside of the zinc. We'll go ahead and then click start. And like this is the first activity. And here are beakers of the aqueous solutions, labeled compounds. Oh yeah, we have to actually click on activity 1. So there you go. So now if you want your metal, say, to be copper, then you would click on that button, and you got 4 strips of copper, 4 solutions: magnesium nitrate, zinc nitrate, copper nitrate, silver nitrate. And then you hit the button to lower it in. And then it says, now you can remove the metal. So this is to simulate that you have to give it a little bit of time for it to occur. So you click down here in this box, and they come out. Well, this first strip, it doesn't look any different. The next strip, it doesn't look any different. The next strip, it doesn't look any different. Now, what that means is that the copper would be thermodynamically favored to exist as the solid rather than zinc or magnesium. However, if we put it in a solution of silver nitrate, silver is thermodynamically preferred to exist as a metal rather than the copper. So remember, this solution looked a little different before. Now it's changed. It's changed into becoming, let's see, this would be copper nitrate, just a little bit like the one next to it. So then you just switch to another metal and just keep going. So that's all I'm going to do on that. Let you guys go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to go back to the chat, and I'm going to turn off my sharing and see if anybody has a question. Yeah, Noah, what's up?
It's not about this specific lab. Just, do you mind opening the lab number 6 again so we could turn it in?
Oh, yeah, I will do that.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll get the groups going here. If you discover I put you in the wrong group, I'm sorry. Just tell me and I can move you to the correct one. Okay, we'll go ahead and get this started.